I don't know what to do and I need some advice. I have two boys, male 10 and male 5, and I'm getting married in the next few weeks to my boyfriend who has a 12-year-old son from a previous relationship. My future husband's son asked his dad if he could come live with us after we get married because he wants to experience a genuine family dynamic with parents and siblings, given that his biological parents never married anyone else. My husband is on board with this idea, believing it would contribute positively to the boy's personal growth. I expressed to my husband that I have reservations about having him live with us based on observations during the weekends he spends at our place. Firstly, he appears to have a strained relationship with my younger son. He rarely includes him in activities unless I specifically prompt him to do so. When I ask him to assist the younger boy, such as accompanying him to the bathroom, he does so with obvious reluctance. Secondly, he displays an excessive competitive streak towards my older son. He consistently aims to outperform him and even taunts him when he succeeds. I find this overly competitive atmosphere uncomfortable. I desire my children to grow up in a nurturing and supportive environment. The third and most significant concern is his academic and behavioral performance. My boyfriend has informed me that his son has been struggling academically and has faced minor behavioral challenges. I am concerned about his potential negative influence on my children, particularly my older son. My husband dismisses these concerns as typical for his age, believing that with our guidance he could improve. I sought advice from my mother, and she disagrees with me, asserting that providing a united family environment could greatly benefit my stepson. Both of them label my reasons as unreasonable. Am I the idiot? Edit. Many people didn't quite catch the bathroom example I provided. Let's say we're at a park. I can't let my 5-year-old go to the bathroom alone. So I might have my stepson accompany him for safety reasons. It's the kind of thing an older child should do for a younger one. Update. I know that I am not the best person, but I never mistreated or ignored my future stepson. I care for him, and I would never think of hurting him. I realize now that I was being overly protective of my own children and not considering things from my future stepson's perspective. I was afraid that my future stepson might bully my kids, for example, excluding the younger one from activities he enjoys, like building with Legos or teasing the older one when he wins. But now I can see that if he wants to live with us, it's because he cares about his future siblings. Moreover, as a responsible adult, I understand that I have an obligation to help him with behavior and school grades. I talked to my boyfriend, and I accept that he can come live with us. Now, we'll need to move to a new house so that each child can have their own room, and we'll have to work on getting custody. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're the idiot. You're marrying his father, so you should start considering him as your son as well. If your eldest son, male 10, started displaying all these behaviors, then surely you wouldn't just kick him out and give up on him. I would get your BF on board with ways to deal with the behaviors that you're not happy with. Comment 2. You're the idiot. You are marrying a family. If you can't accept your boyfriend's children into your home, then don't get married. He is not less than your son's. Comment 3. You're the idiot. Future stepson sounds like a typical 12-year-old. You seem to think he is a free mother's helper for you with your younger child and that he should treat your older child like he is made of glass. It doesn't need to take your 5-year-old to the bathroom and invite him to play. They have different interests given their 7-year age gap. Your son won't melt or break from competition. And lastly, a lot of kids that age go through some academic and minor behavioral struggles. Your own kids will as well. I will say that if you continue this, your partner should refuse to marry you and should end the relationship. Your kids are not the only kids in your blended family, and they should not be your boyfriend's priority. Now, for the update. And if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. I initially want to thank the comments that helped me understand that I was in the wrong. I learned that I was being extremely selfish, only looking out for my own children and my fear that they might somehow face bullying at home, but I wasn't considering the feelings of my stepson. I've also learned that the dynamics between siblings, something I never experienced, inevitably involve a bit of competition and rivalry. I was so focused on myself and my kids that I couldn't see that if he wants to live with us, then obviously he cares about us, especially the idea of having siblings. So I hope we will work together to build a great dynamic in our house. I talked to my fiancé, even showed him this Reddit post and told him that I agree our stepson should live with us, that I was wrong about my reservations concerning the boy. He talked to the mother of my stepson, who has legal custody of him. I didn't participate in the conversation. As I understand, it's a moment for the biological parents. Despite being reluctant, after hearing from her own child that he wanted to live with us, she agreed to work out an arrangement where he will spend a significant amount of time with us. My fiancé and the boy's mother will still have to discuss the details. After that, my fiancé and I took my stepson out to eat his favorite burger and talked. I told him that we're happy to have him as a new member of our household, that we're going to look for a new house to better accommodate the family now that we'll be 5 and he can have his own room. He was very happy. We didn't address some concerns that I still have, like the issue of discipline and following rules. I avoided that topic so it doesn't seem like I'm threatening him to go back to living with his mom. I want him to feel accepted unconditionally in our home. But of course, we'll have that conversation about discipline with the older two soon to prevent any issues and also emphasize the importance of maintaining good grades in school. P.S. There's no need for anyone here to send me messages cursing me out. I've received dozens of offensive messages and it doesn't help anyone. I've also received supportive messages with advice, and I appreciate those messages. The internet and this community don't need to be a place for hate. Comment 1. As a step-parent, you need to discuss discipline with your spouse ASAP. You both need to be on the same page when it comes to basic disciplinary measures, or it can cause problems in your relationship too. Then the original poster responded with, "I'm aware of that. This issue has always been one of the key points for me. I always believe that when a child is disciplined by a step-parent, they might perceive it as unfair, which can significantly impact the relationship between the child and the step-parent. However, we've discussed making a list of rules and the corresponding consequences for breaking each rule, so I hope that no one feels unjustly treated. If something comes up that isn't on the list, then the decision will need to be a joint one between me and my fiancé." Comment 2. Happy to hear that everything worked out for the best. And I think your decision to not mix the moving in discussion with the behavior discussion was very wise. That discussion needs to happen, of course, but in due time and has nothing to do with him moving in. Good for you. Comment 3. This update still sounds very much like you're viewing your stepson as an outsider and not part of your family. You keep talking about your children as if your stepson is not one of your children now. It doesn't sound at all like you're ready for the role of a step-parent, and maybe you and your partner should slow things down a bit until you understand what being a step-parent means. Now, for the next story. Would I be the idiot if I go on vacation instead of my brother's wedding? My brother Tom, male 36, and I, female 26, have never had a really solid relationship. Due to our age gap, we didn't spend much time, and by the time I was old enough to develop a personality, he was moved out of the house. For the last 2 years, my brother and his fiancée Sarah, female 32, have been planning their wedding, and it's coming up in September. I was asked to be a bridesmaid. I figured I was only asked as a courtesy since I'm her soon-to-be sister-in-law, but I still took it seriously. I have been a bridesmaid for the last 2 years. Just a few weeks ago, I managed to save up to buy the $800 bridesmaid dress. Overall, in the last 2 years, between group outings to parties, dinners, lunches, clothes, etc., I spent thousands of dollars. Eventually, all the girls in the wedding and I became extremely close, and I started to get hyped for the wedding. Sarah recently got close with her brother's wife, Becky, 30F. Last week, she dropped the ball on me that she no longer wants me to be a bridesmaid and she would prefer if Becky would take my place. It broke my heart a little, but it's her wedding, and it's not my place to tell her how to run it, so I said it was fine. Yesterday, I went to my brother's house to pick up the bridesmaid's dress and was going to see if I could return it since it was within the time frame. Sarah was completely appalled and said that Becky was going to wear it since she and I are the same size. I said that would be fine, but they would have to pay me the $800 for it. Sarah said that Becky couldn't afford it and I should just be nice and let her use it, and said that I could keep it after the wedding. I explained that I'm not just giving away the dress and I'm not ever going to use it after the wedding. After some bickering back and forth, I just ended up taking it and leaving. My brother and Sarah tried to compromise with me and say I could be the assistant flower girl, and I felt offended at the offer. After I said no, they then said that Becky could give me $250 for it. Again, no, and I returned the dress and got a full refund. I told them I understand that it's their wedding, but they are being extremely disrespectful to me, and I don't need to deal with it, and I'm not going to the wedding. Today, my coworker says she has an extra round-trip plane ticket to go to Miami that she'll sell to me for half price, plus I would have to pay for half the hotel and I can go hang out with her in Florida. The only downside is that I'll be in Florida for the week of my brother's wedding. So will I be an idiot if I just go to a party in Miami instead of going to my brother's wedding? Now, for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. Go to Miami. A wedding is not an event where a soon-to-be sister-in-law and your own brother crap all over you and you smile and take it. Comment 2. Not the idiot. They disrespected you so you don't have to be there if you don't want to. They literally removed you as a bridesmaid after they had you spend so much money. I'm proud of you for returning the dress instead of letting them walk all over you and take it for free. You might not be able to ever be close with this brother if he finds out you chose partying in Miami over his wedding. Also may affect what parents, other family think of you, but not sure if any of that is relevant. Comment 3. Not the idiot. How can someone logically conclude that it's okay to pass on a brand new dress without compensating the original owner considering it's within the return timeline? I mean, I just cannot get around that bit. Everything else, while shitty, I get how that can happen. But goddamn, the dress thing just doesn't make sense at all. So, unfortunately, since Reddit is awful at keeping secrets, Becky saw the post on TikTok, so she obviously let the cat out of the bag. My whole family is split on what I should do, but after a heated argument, it was mutually agreed that I will not be attending the wedding. My brother and future sister-in-law cannot seem to comprehend that this is not about the dress, but how they treated me. For those wondering what our parents have to say, our mother says, "If you're going to be an idiot, don't be upset when someone's an idiot back," my dad says, because he's long dead. My brother and future sister-in-law think I am the idiot, but by the way, my mom paid for the hotel for my trip. I think it is safe to assume whose side she's low-key on. I appreciate all the love and support I got. I will have an amazing time in Miami and won't feel the slightest bit guilty thanks to the overwhelmingly positive response I got on here. Comment 1. If the dress mattered that much, Sarah should have paid on Becky's behalf, since Becky being a bridesmaid was so important to her. Comment 2. Honestly, that's the best way they could have found out. Well ahead of the wedding, so they have time to process it. Also, it's good they found the online discussion on their own, so they had a chance to see all the responses instead of you at some point being like, well, actually, the internet says you're TA, which would obviously just sound 10,000% self-serving to ever bring up on your own. They might never agree that they're the idiot, but at least they'll know a lot of people genuinely thought they're the idiot and that you thought it all through rationally and responsibly. Comment 3. The dress was ridiculously expensive to begin with, and expecting you to just hand it over after saving for months is unfair. Making you feel like you were part of the team and then just kicking you out on a whim was also unfair. You do not owe them anything. In fact, they owe you an apology. And from the sounds of it, some of that thousands you've spent paid back. Take lots of photos of yourself having a blast with a huge smile and make sure they'll see them. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.